Top 5 Surprising Facts About Working at Google. Many people will consider a job at a top tech company like Google the high point of their career. That is no surprise. Google's parent company, Alphabet, is one of the $4 trillion companies in the world. It receives millions of applications from would-be employees every year, but only a handful ever manage to get in. While most people will never get to experience what it feels like to be on Google's payroll or work out of one of its many offices, they can at least read about it. Working at Google may be cool, but as you are about to find out, it is not always a bed of roses. Number 1. You get all sorts of names thrown at you. Every Google employee is identified by an informal name. The most common is Googler, which is used for every employee. This is followed by Noogler, which is used for newly recruited employees. Googlers who identify with the LGBT community or openly support them are called Gayglers. They should not be confused with Griggler, which refers to Googlers over 40 years old. Griggler is formed from Grey Googler. Grey here refers to their gray hair. Not all have gray hair, but that does not matter. Doogler is for dogs owned by Googlers and the Googlers who own these dogs. Brooglers is reserved for Googlers who drink beer, while Jooglers refers to Jewish Googlers. Ex-Googlers are not safe from the naming syndrome. They are called Koogler, which is pronounced Zoogler. The name was formed from ex-Googler. Number 2. You do not get any 20% time. There is a common misconception that Googlers get one day off every week to spend on personal projects they think will benefit Google. This is the famous 20% time, which remains one of the defining hallmarks of Google. Many successful Google services including AdSense, Gmail, and Google News were started by Googlers during their 20% time. However, as many Nooglers have found out, to their disappointment, and many Googlers and Kooglers already know, the 20% time is dead. It still technically exists, but that is only on paper. Google has been clamping down on it for years, and it is almost impossible to get that time off today. Some Googlers say the 20% time currently exists as the 120% time. That is the 100% time they spend on their core project and an additional 20% time they spend on their core project. If you are thinking that sounds like overtime, you are correct. Number 3. You get the Google 15 in your first year. Every Googler gets 3 square meals every day for free. On top of that, they have access to lots of fruits and snacks they can binge on to keep their digestive systems busy. Googlers have access to so much food that Nooglers often gain 15 extra pounds right after they are hired. Googlers call this the Google 15. Rumor has it that Google serves so much food because co-founder, Sergey Brin, requires every Googler to be within 200 feet from food. Number 4. You get to answer quirky interview questions. Google is famous for the quirky interview questions it asks its would-be employees. Even interns are not spared of these strange questions. They have been asked to estimate the number of tennis balls they think can fit into an airplane. Prospective Googlers are asked more difficult but equally strange questions like how many books are published in the US annually, the number of haircuts people get in the US every year, how they would design an ATM for elderly people, and how they would solve homelessness in San Francisco if they have the powers to. Google understands its bizarre interview questions are often difficult and has gone on to ban some of them. This includes logical questions like why manhole covers are round to weird ones like how many piano tuners are alive, how many vacuums are made in the US every year, and the number of golf balls that will fill a school bus. Number 5. Everyone is assigned to a ladder. Every Googler is assigned to a ladder the moment they are employed. By ladder, we mean the route through which they can be promoted. For example, Googlers employed into business roles can only climb up the business ladder, called a ladder, while engineers can only climb up the T ladder. The T ladder is the most lucrative ladder and is the one most Googlers want to climb. Many Googlers actually begin their careers in other departments with plans to transfer to engineering in the future. However, many ultimately realize the process of switching ladders is very complicated and almost impossible. Those that manage to make the switch are often demoted to the previous level on the new ladder even if they are competent at the new role.